Rabbitte.
Minister, I just want to talk to this last portion of the bill that you're after talking about introducing there in relation to the certificate of fitness. And I suppose really what I'm honing in is on the Gaming and Lotteries Act 1956. To be quite honest with you, that the fact that Fianna Fáil did bring forward a gambling control bill, and the fact that this is now, I feel, diluting our gambling control bill. But listening to your statement there, I understand exactly what you're saying. But I'm just wondering, at what stage are you with Minister Staunton in the setting up of the independent regulator? And I think that's something I would like to hear reassurances as to where we are with the setting up of the independent regulator, and why exactly would you have picked out the cards clubs as opposed to looking at it all in its entirety? Thank you.
Number 11 in particular, I welcome the amendment, Minister, and we will be supporting them, and we have raised various issues, this issue at various stages of the bill. There is obviously, as you said yourself in your contribution, there is wider issues of regulation of betting and gambling industries and gambling control, and that therefore another day. And I acknowledge the progress that Minister Staunton has done, but I don't believe we have, or the Department has done sufficient progress on this issue, and I concur. Maybe you can explain exactly when the future gambling control bill is due before the House. While I recommend and I welcome the amendment because it's a step in the right direction, I hope we can build on it and see further regulation in terms of what is required to counter the use of gambling and private members' clubs and gambling activities to launder money. Why does the measure not include, for instance, bookmakers? And this is an issue that has been raised with us, and we have raised this before. I would have thought that was glaring and an obvious avenue where the practices that this bill is seeking to outlaw or to quell occurs, and we've seen it in some court cases in the past. I also had a health warning that we could have done more and done better as regards this issue. We need to, as I said, we need to look again at it in the future. Minister Staunton did say in the Seanad a few weeks ago that what I am raising here is covered by various betting acts. This, however, was raised as a serious issue in the debates on the ever-promised gambling control bill, which is coming in supposedly for the last 6 years, and we haven't seen it yet. So, is the issue of the gambling left on the back burner, Minister? Hopefully not, and hopefully you'll be able to indicate exactly when we will get to grips with an issue that has been raised here in the House, and that wouldn't be to take away from, but hopefully you'll be able to add to the specifics that you're trying to achieve in this legislation today.
So, Amendment 7 from Seanad, is that agreed?
I might reply briefly to the point.
Sure, Minister.
As raised, and I want to thank Deputy Rabbitte. If I interpret her contribution, it is one of forbearance towards the government in respect of the gambling issue, and I accept that with the grace in which it was offered. And I do acknowledge her contribution towards that and her interest in it. And I'm very keen that we can progress matters here. And I wish to assure her that every effort is being made within my department and under the stewardship of Minister Staunton in particular, that we can meet particular targets. And I do understand the frustration of Deputy Rabbitte and a number of deputies who have been consistent in their interest in this and in their calls that matters would be updated, and I accept accept everything that has been said, but I would ask that my bona fides at this point be accepted. On the matter of the Gaming and Lotteries Amendment Bill, as I said earlier, work is ongoing between my officials and the Office of the Attorney General, and it's envisaged that the bill will be ready for publication late this year or very early next year. But it has been included on the priority list for publication for autumn 18. The fact that we have 3 and 3, 6, maybe 7 weeks left, I will ensure that we keep in communication with the Deputy, but I would be very disappointed if we don't have the bill ready for publication within the time frame as envisaged. Not to go into detail, but just to respond to some of the questions asked, the bill will standardise the age limit for gambling and gaming at 18. The age limit for the tote will now be set at 18. There will be a streamlining of applications for permits and licences. As I say, we would hope to be in a position to move on to publication very shortly. Dealing with Deputy Ó Snodaigh's question, bookmakers. Seems to me that bookmakers are already in compliance with the measures that I'm now bringing in here in respect of the money laundering directive. These amendments are really similar to those which already exist in respect of bookmakers. And why we're singling out, to quote Deputy Rabbitte, private members' clubs, the reason is because this is a requirement directly under the EU directive. But I have to say that it's nevertheless an interim measure pending the fuller regulation. And then on the gambling regulation bill, and I want to acknowledge again the support of the House and indeed the support of Deputy Rabbitte, but indeed the work that Deputy Rabbitte and others have done in that regard, which is helpful and which isn't gone unnoticed by government, I might add. In January, the government approved the drafting of the general scheme to update the 13 general scheme. The working group, as I said, chaired by Minister Stanton. The group, again, it's the intention of the group that there would be a report directly to government prior to Christmas. But given the complexity of the gambling regulation bill, and Deputy Rabbitte knows that as well as anyone else, Ceann Comhairle, it will take up to 12 months to draft. But we will continue to work closely with the Office of the Attorney General, and I would be very happy to keep Deputy Rabbitte and indeed any other specialist deputies in that area fully informed. And I do thank them for their work and interest in this issue.